Brilliance Audio presents The Perfect Husband by Lisa Gardner, performed by Sarah Zimmerman. J.T. Dillon was drunk. Outside, the white-hot desert sun was straight up in the sky, bleaching bones and parching mountains. Saguaro cacti seemed to surf waves of heat, while sagebrush died of sunstroke at their feet. And all over Nogales, people hid in darkened rooms, running ice cubes down their naked chests and cursing God for having saved August's apocalypse for September. But he didn't notice. In the middle of the cool green oasis of his ranch-style home, J.T. Dillon lay sprawled on his back, his right hand cradling the silver-framed picture of a smiling woman and gorgeous little boy. His left hand held an empty tequila bottle. Above him, a fan stirred the air-conditioned breeze through the living room. Below him, a Navajo print rug absorbed his sweat. The room was well-maintained and tastefully decorated with wicker furniture and sturdy yucca soap trees. He stopped noticing such details after his first day of straight tequila. As any Marine knew, true binge drinking was art, and J.T. considered himself to be Tequila Willie's first Michelangelo. Shot number 1 seared away throat lining. Shot number 2 burned away the taste of the first. Half a bottle later, no man worth his salt even winced at the sensation of cheap, raw tequila ripping down his esophagus into his stomach, and sooner or later, out his bowels. By the end of day 1, J.T. had been beyond conscious thought. The ceiling fan had become a prehistoric bird, his wicker sofa a tiger, lying in wait. The toughest, meanest Marine in the world had developed a bad case of the giggles. When he closed his eyes, the world had spun sickeningly, so he'd spent his first night with his eyelids propped open by his fingers, staring at the ceiling hour after hour after hour. Now, on his 4th day of straight tequila, he'd gone beyond thought and surrendered most of his body. His face had gone first. He'd been sitting by his pool, swigging some great Cuervo Gold, and abruptly he'd realized he could no longer feel his nose. He tried to find it with his fingers. No dice. His nose was gone. An hour later, his cheeks disappeared as well. No rasp of whiskers, no sting of sweat. He had no cheeks. Finally, not that long ago, he'd lost his lips. He tried to open them, and they hadn't been there anymore. No lips. It made it damn hard to drink, and he had 24 hours of serious boozing left. He rolled slowly onto his side, discovering he still had his arms and a remnant of a pickled brain. He squeezed his eyes shut, and hazy images clustered behind his eyelids. He'd been a champion swimmer and percussion rifle shooter once. He remembered the welcoming smell of chlorine and the heavy weight of his black walnut rifle. He'd been a Marine with raw talent, lots of potential, before he'd been asked to leave. After the Marines had come the stint as a mercenary, doing work he never told anyone about because then he'd have to kill them. The next image was more hesitant, still raw around the edges, as if it understood that even after 4 days of straight tequila, it had the power to bruise. He was back in the States. Rachel stood beside him. He was a husband. His gaze dropped to the little boy squeezing his hand. He was a father. Now he was a drunk. His manservant Freddie arrived, taking the silver-framed portrait from J.T.'s hands and replacing it in the safe, where it would remain until next September. "How are you doing, sir?" His iguana crawled into the room, its 4-foot tail slithering across the red-tiled floor. The tequila screamed, red alert, Godzilla attacks. The same part of him whispered through parched, rubbery lips, "Glug, go away. I mean it." Glug pointedly ignored him, settling his plump body in a sunbeam that had sneaked through the Venetian blinds and making himself comfortable. J.T. liked Glug. "Water, sir?" Freddie inquired patiently. "What day is it?" "The 13th, sir."